Okay, so in this particular lesson, we're gonna talk about the characteristics of linear function. So hopefully at the end we can determine the leading coefficient, slope, and behavior, x and y intercepts, domain, and range. Okay. So we know this. Equations that have a straight line graphs are called linear equations. So equations that will create a linear graph will give you is from a linear equation. And sometimes it's called a linear function. That means there's a connection, a linear connection between the x and the y. So functions are used to describe relationship between quantities. So in a previous lesson, we entered the temperature in the information into our calculators and used the linear regression function. Do you remember this? Doing linear regression. We saw the equation expressed like this. So this one, we don't have to do that, but we did that in L1 and L2, yes. We entered the values on L1 and L2, and then we figured out the regression equation. This is the regression equation. So that equation relates the linear relation between degrees Fahrenheit and degrees Celsius. Okay. Which one is x? Okay. So let's see here. This is your x, which is a degree Fahrenheit, and then the y will be degrees Celsius. So when we have something like this, y equals to 0.556x minus 17.778. The x represents the Fahrenheit. Right? Because x is our Fahrenheit temperature, and then the y is the Celsius, degrees Celsius. So we were able to determine the linear regression from there. And then it creates a data, creates the points, and then figure out the regression equation of the line. Now, we've done that already. That's not our main point today. So we're going to move on to the next page. I didn't write much. I just wrote down Celsius, Fahrenheit. Yes? Now let's take a look at page 2. Page 2. If we are given an equation, okay, if we are given an equation, we can enter the equation into our calculator. Okay? Yeah. If we are given the equation, we can enter the equation into our calculator. We're not going to do that one right now, okay? But we will. So, in here, you're going to press y equals key, and then we'll give you this particular information. So it says here, to graph 2x minus 3, we can make sure that the cursor is in the correct position. Okay. I'll show you how to do that on maybe tomorrow on the calculator, but I want us to just get in touch with these parts first. You're given the equation, okay? You're given the equation, and then we can create a graph. We can create a graph. Do we have time? I think we have time, right? Okay, we have time. So let's go grab a calculator very quickly.
What's your number? What's your number?
So once you have your calculator, let's reset everything. Okay, do you remember how to reset everything? You're gonna go second plus, and then 7, reset, and then number 1, and then 2. Okay, so reset everything so that nothing is there because we don't know who used it. Okay. So if you missed that, you're gonna go second plus, type in 7, 1, and 2. That resets everything. Okay. Now press Y equals. Press Y equals. Press Y equals. Okay. Now that gives you this screen, and you could actually type in a lot of functions, right? You can have up to 7 functions type in together all at once. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to go to Y1. Go to Y1, and then we're going to type in 2x minus 3. The y is already there, so we don't have to type in the y. The equals is already there, so we don't have to type in equals. The only thing that we need to type is 2. And then to get the x here, okay, you're probably thinking, how do I enter the x? You're going to press the button that says x t theta n. Can you locate that button? It's right here. It's right beside the alpha. Okay. So it's going to be 2. Okay, let's type it in. Yeah, so type in 2. The x right there. And then this is minus 3. So we're going to type in the minus 3. Okay. 2x minus 3. Is everybody at this stage? Yeah? Okay. So we've entered our equation. What is the value of the slope? What is the number for the slope? 2, right? The 2. 2 tells us the slope. What is the value of the y-intercept? Minus 3. Yeah. So we enter that, and then press graph. Okay. What it does is it creates a linear graph. Okay. Remember our graph? Okay. How did the calculator figure that out? How did our calculator figure that out? It actually took a whole bunch of points, and plotted those points to create that line. Does it come okay? Yeah? Yes? Okay. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Can you please press trace? Trace. Where is trace? It's up here. Okay, let's trace it. Okay. Once I press trace, it kind of gives you this. Okay, your equation up there, and then you got some points there at the bottom, right? Yeah? Okay, everyone's there? Okay, don't touch anything on your screen. I want you to just focus on the screen that I have over here. So just hold off on that for now. And what we're gonna do is I'm going to press the arrow key left and right. Okay, don't do that yet. I want you to just take a look, okay? So if I press the arrow key to the right, what's happening? Describe what's happening.
It's increasing.
What's happening?
Increasing.
Increasing. What do you think that's happening to the dot?
Because you changing the.
What's happening to the dot? The dot is moving.
Yeah.
Okay, moving where? Along
Straight.
along the line, right? Okay. I'm going this way. I'm gonna go to the left. What's happening to the graph? The dot is going down. Do you notice something that's going on in here?
Yeah, the
Number change. Every time I press the button, left or right, I'm changing the value there. So that means
change the X.
as x changes, so at this particular point, at that particular point, when x is 2.553, when x is 2.553, what is the y value? 2.10. Okay? So I can trace it along and figure that out from there. Okay. So I'm gonna stop right there. Tomorrow we're gonna continue on with this, but at least right now we have an introduction. We know how to enter the equation onto the screen, and we also know how to graph and navigate there. Okay, so I'm gonna pause right here, and we'll continue on tomorrow.